Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do a quick craft with me, like a small little tutorial on how I'm making these little these little banners using Scrap Diva Designs dies. So let's just jump into it. First, we're gonna need to assemble our little cherries, and these are the heart cherries that were released this month of February. And I'm sorry, not February, January. And anyways, these are available on her shop, and I will link it down below. I guess I'll leave that here just so we can see it, to get a little reference. So I'll show you what I did and how I made mine. So we will cut out this piece right here twice, one with cardstock and one in foam, and then we're gonna cut this piece right here 3 times. We're gonna cut it out of foam, out of red paper, and out of pattern paper. And then the leaf part, we are also going to cut it out of foam and out of pattern paper. So that's what we need to make one of these. And let me pull this little foam piece out. Alright, so let's just put it together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to actually I inked mine up. So, and you can skip this step if you want to, but I'm just using this Peacock Feathers Distress ink from Tim Holtz, and I am just going to go over the center part right here just a little bit to give it a little bit of depth. And again, you can skip this part if you want. And then I think I added a little bit to this section right here, which I don't even know if you're going to see it or not, because it's going to get covered up, but it's okay. So let's go ahead and glue this down. And I'm just using the Barely Arts glue because it has a little fine tip. So we'll just start by attaching all of this to our foam. And it will also make our cherries just a little bit sturdier. If you want to, you can also add another layer on the back of pattern paper. Just to make it even sturdier. Alright, so once we have these two done, put on foam, I'm going to attach this part, which is our foam glitter. It's just glittered foam. I'm just going to attach that right there. Yeah, I love these colors. I think they're so pretty together. Well, once we have that shaped to go along the inside there, we're going to add, to me it's easier just to add our glue to the center and add our hearts. So we'll add our red heart over here and our pattern paper over here. Then I'm going to use my hot glue gun just to add our leaves to the top of this. So I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue just under the circle part right there, and I'm just going to attach this and wait for it to cool off a little bit. And this guy is almost done. All that's left is adding a little bow if you want to. I added a little not tulle, baker's twine bow that I made. So but anyway, so that part's done. Then we're going to assemble these guys right here. This is the banner set 1 from Scrap Diva Designs, and that might have been released back in December or maybe even before, I'm not sure. But anyway, so I'm gonna use 2 of these. So I took them apart. I'm using like I'm not sure where they are, but I'm using a smaller one, the chunkier one, because there's thinner and there's thicker. I'm using the 2 thicker ones, and I'm using the small one and then the next size up. And I've cut those out. And let me just, those are the same size. That's smaller one. And all right, so I cut out 2 of these. Here's the smaller one and here's the bigger one. Sorry, let me move that out of the way. So there you go. Now I'm going to grab my foam tape. I think that's a good size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this around, and this goes right there. So I'm going to flip that around, and this one goes right here. So I'm just making sure I have my what do you call it, the placement right. And I am going to add some foam. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to add some foam from here over, and I'm going to leave a little section open, and I'll show you why. So let's just, I'd rather cut a little bit less than what I need. Okay, and then so the reason why I did that, and I'll try to show you guys. So right here, I actually did it backwards. I added my foam up from here over, and then I added another little piece to finish it off. But I'm just gonna do it like this. So what I did was I grabbed these, and if you saw, I hauled these from Hobby Lobby, I believe, and it was just like a pick, and it had a bunch of these. So I just cut it, and you can cut them down to size, whatever size you want. So what I'm going to do is I am going to glue this part wherever I want it. So I'm going to glue that right about there. And then I guess I could add some more foam tape right there and another piece right there, and kind of sandwich it in between the two, if that makes sense. So I'll show you. So wherever I think I need, and I'm using the smaller one on top. So let's just say I want that one right about here. So I have my glue and I have my tape, and now let's say I want this one roughly about there. So I'm just going to add a good amount of glue so that it'll stick regardless of where it is. And I think the first one I had already attached these so that I could see where the bottom of the banner went. But you can do it however you want. I'm going to lay it down, make sure they're straight. And my heart's not wobbly, like at an angle. I want it to be flat, straight. All right, so then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that in with more foam. And so I'll just cut little strips. And for this part, I'm just going to add some glue here. Cover that. And I'm going to add some glue here and cover this part. And I guess it would be easier to do it the way I did it the first time, which is getting the foam up against the stick, the little stick right here. So the second one, we'll do it that way. That way we can have a nice little sandwich of foam. Okay, and then I'm just kind of melting the glue that's already there and adding a little bit more. And I'm going to try to clean up all these little glue strings. All right, now we can just take our foam off, or not foam, the paper off the foam, the backing. And now we're going to attach it to our banners. Sorry, I have glue all over my hands. All right, let's just add some more glue. We'll add some in between right there, just and we'll attach that one and this one. I'll lay that down and try the hole. All right, there we go. Now our pick is sandwiched in between our layers. Can you see that? Our little pick is sandwiched right there. And now all we have to do is decorate it. So I am going to attach this guy right there at an angle. So we'll need a little bit of glue behind the leaf, back here on this on the foam behind where that leaf is, and we'll need some on this heart and maybe just a little bit on that part there. So we'll add some there, and right here. And then we just kind of eyeball it wherever we want it. All right, well then all that is left is to cut out this from the tags. This is the Valentine word tags that was released in January. I cut out the B and the mine from this set out of foam, the same like a, what is that, like a mint, not mint green, kind of like a turquoise color, I guess, the same one that I use for the cherries. So we're gonna put the mine right here, And then we're going to add the bee up here. If you want to cut out pattern paper and layer it on top, you can also do that. So what I did with my first one, you can either glue it down like that, or I actually came in and I cut right where the eye is. I just cut that, and that way I can glue this top part on the top, and then this part with it in. Cut that, make it straight. I added that part to the bottom down here so that I could make sure it's nice and secure. So let's do that. My glue is running. Whoops. And I have ink all over my fingers. I need to go wash my hands real quick. Well, so here's the bee. I don't know if we'll need it on the eye, but just in case. No, we don't. Alright, we'll put that there. And then we'll need to add glue to all the back of the N and the E. And then we just try to line it up. Try to match where it would go. There we go. All right, now what I did was I added a, let's see, where's my top for my glue? I don't know. All I did was add a little, like a polymer clay bead and one of these little round balls. I don't know what they're called. But anyway, so I'm going to just put that through from the bottom, and I'm going to put this guy through as well, and then I am going to add hot glue here to the bottom of this, and I'm just going to pull this down through it so that it'll catch. And then once that catches, I'm going to add a little bit more glue, and I guess the back would probably be the best place to put it. And then I'm going to slide this down, also catching that glue, and that way that is that's nicely and secured, and that is one of our little things, what do you call it, banners. So I have those, and like I said, all that's missing now is that we can add a bow there, and if you want to hang something off the side here, you can. That's what that little circle thing is there for. I'm not sure what I'm gonna hang off of it quite yet. Also, I do have these little tiny felt bows that I got from Temu. I don't know if they're too big, but they're very, very dark. They're like a maroon color, so I don't know if it would work. I think they're too big for this little heart, but I thought that would be cute to add something to it. I guess I can look around and see what I have. I might have these tiny little bitty hearts might work. Maybe the pink one. Yeah, or the white ones. Just adding a little heart or something there. I think that would be cute. Let's just go ahead and do that. I'm gonna grab a white. little bitty white one and try it out. We'll use glue. Oh my gosh, there's glue running down the whole side of this glue bottle. I guess we can add it right there. And yeah, like that. Very cute. All right, now we can make the last one. So we'll start by, remove these scissors. We'll start by inking those up, and there's that one, and then this part right here. We'll wash my hands real quick. All right, I didn't get much off, but it's okay. All right, so now we glue this down. And all right, now we add our foam, our hearts. Okay, and then we add our pieces of pattern paper. Which my glue's still not completely dry, so I still have some wiggle room. Whoops, that's the wrong side. So now I can play with it and move this around if I need to. Okay. Then we'll get this guy and we'll add some glue there to attach our leaves. Set that aside. Okay. And we need to get our little pick, our banners, and our the top layer of our banner. And this one, I think we're just going to yeah, we'll just add our piece of foam close to the edge. That way we can just glue our pick onto that foam. See what I mean? We'll just glue our pick right there. So actually, this is how I did it the first time, and I don't know if it's easier or not, but I will attach this part to it, and this one's missing another little section over here. But that way you can see how far down this little banner is going to go, and you don't overlap them. Alright, now since we have our opening right here, I can see where exactly I want that. And so all we're going to do is pull this back and add some glue onto our foam there. And we're going to glue that on. Make sure that's flat there. And then the same thing. Add some glue, like a big dollop, and attach this guy where we want it. And now we just cut little pieces of foam to sandwich and secure this little area right here. Oops, pull that out. So I'm going to take the paper off, and I'm just going to add some glue, some with my hot glue gun, so that it'll stay, and it'll be nice and sandwiched in there. Okay. Trying to get this glue off, and then another little sliver of foam so that I can stick in here. Right, there we go. Now we add our cherry. Oops, sorry. And then the Be Mine. Let's cut that off right there. that. And then the N and the E, and all that's left are the beads on the bottom, just to cover the sharp edge, so you don't stab yourself with this point. All right, don't need that anymore. And where's the, here we go. So again, I'm just gonna slide this in, and this guy, and then I'll add some glue to the bottom. I'll pull this over, wait for it a little bit to dry out. All right, and there we go. All right, there is our 3 picks, and I will just finish putting bows on them, and I'll add the little hearts to them, and they will be done. All right, I hope you guys like this tutorial. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'll see if I'll probably make a few tutorials of how I package these up, and before I mail them out. All right, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.